go ahead and click that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel now, we encourage you to do so. So checkering Thompson-Boling for Alabama. Let's jump right into it. I'll remind you that portions of the program are brought to you by Craft Treats. Go to crafttreats.com. Check out their chill pills with CBD, and they'll help your pet when it comes to digestive issues, social anxiety, car ride anxiety, and arthritis. Use the promo code Off the Hook. That's Off the Hook. Get 20% off. crafttreats.com. All kinds of treats, including the CBD treats as well. crafttreats.com. Promo code Off the Hook. Checkering Thompson-Boling or Neyland Stadium, for that matter, does it help in your mind? What are your thoughts on the checkering? And I'll offer this disclaimer. I'm a guy who has covered games that I have to think really hard if Tennessee was wearing orange or white. I'm not a jersey guy. I'm not the extravaganza that goes around the game type of guy. So it doesn't do a lot for me. But if it does something for the fans, then that could be big time. What do you think of checkering in general, which Tennessee basically stole from Oklahoma, right?
Did they steal from Oklahoma? I didn't know that.
They did. I think they were out there, and Oklahoma didn't do the checkering, but they did the entire sections were, I don't know.
Well, we have to remember, before they visited Oklahoma in 2014, the first checkering was 2006 in basketball when Tennessee checkered Thompson-Boling Arena for Kentucky. It was a night where they were honoring Ray Mears. It was Bruce Pearl's first year. That was when Bruce Pearl decided we'll wear the orange jacket every time they play Vanderbilt in Kentucky.
Okay, so that's proof. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
So they checkered Thompson-Boling before Neyland?
Yes, they did. They checkered Thompson-Boling in 2006. Lost that game to Kentucky, and it was actually an upset because Kentucky was struggling at the time. But I don't necessarily think it helps. I think it's good for the fans. I have to be honest. This was done so last minute. I'm not so sure this wasn't done out of desperation to try to generate fan interest, because there was already a little bit of apathy behind this team being number 2 because of how we've watched this team play this year. And then they've lost 3 of 4. And I think, I don't want to go here, but I want to do a little bit of history for you, Dave. You remember 2001 when Tennessee basketball was number 4 under Jerry Green, and then they started their little slide in February or January?
Oh, yeah, I remember that distinctly. That was the series of weeks in which they kept saying we've had a come to Jesus meeting or a players only meeting, or this is the final buzzer. We got to get this straight. They had like 8 of those meetings, and none of them helped.
Yeah, well, I do know distinctly there's a story. It was written years ago on Rocky Top Talk, funny enough, about the end of the 2009 decade, about the end of the 2000s decade, that apparently there was a 3-game homestand with Florida, Georgia, and Kentucky that was supposed to fix everything, and they sold like these "Not in Our House" shirts or something like that, and everybody was supposed to wear them for the game, and this was going to get Tennessee back on track, and they lost all 3 games. And so I know they checkered Neyland in football, and you get it. Tennessee basketball is hosting the number 1 team in the nation, but I don't know. Something about this just seems like we've got to generate some interest and excitement behind this basketball team to fix what's ailing the program right now. And
it feels forced to you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it feels forced to me. And so I personally, look, I'm a fan of a lot of different traditions. I love the black jerseys. I love the smoky grays. I think those are the coolest things.
Well, those aren't traditions. Those are new.
No, I mean, but new traditions and new flair. Introducing new flair. Look, running through the T wasn't a tradition until Doug Dickey started it. So, I mean, all traditions were new at one point. I'm saying I'm a fan of those type of things and doing them. Not a fan of checkering. I got to be honest. I like the checkerboard end zones. Once you move it beyond the end zones, it looks tacky, and no pun intended, it looks really square. Like, when the dudes wear the checker overalls at games.
Are you talking about Neyland or Thompson-Boling or both?
Both.
See, I love Neyland.
No.
I love it when it looks checkered.
It looks like the most boomer thing ever. Okay.
Boomer. What does boomer mean? You're using
baby boomer. You ever heard the okay boomer phrase for the boomer generation?
Oh, okay. No, I haven't heard that. All right. So it looks like something my parents would put together.
A bunch of old squares that probably think that that'll tell you how basketball was better when there was no 3-point line and And so, I mean, it just looks, the whole checkering thing. Again, I feel the same with the checkerboard overalls. It just makes Tennessee look like so. You're trying to recruit to a younger generation, and you look so square. No pun intended. No, you look so like
well,
you know.
the checkered overalls just that's never been a fan. It's never been a fave of mine. But all right, so if you're watching, I want to hear live on the message board as we're live at 10 a.m. But also, if you're watching this video later, post below. Do you like the checkerboards at Neyland or Thompson-Boling? Because I think Caleb's going to be in a big time minority here. I love it. Now, I don't get caught up into it, and I can't tell you the record that Tennessee has had in either football or basketball like some people can. Oh, they're 6-1 when they checker Neyland. I don't know. You probably do. I don't. But I think it looks pretty cool. Now, I will side with you on this. I think this is hastily put together. I think this is to console a frustrated fan base that right now really wonders what this basketball team is all about, because this basketball team is wondering what it's all about. They don't have their identity, and the idea for Danny White and the Tennessee administration department and the athletic department is to put together something to get things on the right path again. Me, I would only checker Thompson-Boling for Kentucky. To me, that's the one school. And I know Alabama's number one in the nation. I know there's a rivalry there in football, but there's really not a rivalry in basketball. Let's be honest. I wouldn't checker it for this. I wouldn't put it together, because now if you put it together, there seems like there's even more pressure on this basketball team to respond to beat the number one team in the nation. If they don't, where is this fan base tomorrow night on Wednesday night, Caleb? They've checkered. They've done all this stuff. They've got excited about the team, and they've watched it play 2 weeks of bad basketball, culminating in checkering Thompson-Boling and a loss. If they lose, it just, to me, heightens the stakes. I don't think it was necessary.
I agree. If they lose, it becomes a much bigger letdown. And I mean, I think you're in very, very grave danger of, honestly, increasing fan apathy at that point. Because what happens if, like, okay, you've got all this hype and everybody's excited and they're going to show up and, oh, we're going to win, and then there's a massive letdown. At that point, you can't build back the hype. And I think people will kind of just be like over the program at this point. Look, this is not that fun of a team to watch, quite honestly.
No, I mean, somebody could come on and argue that this team's better than it's looked the past couple of weeks, but nobody can argue that it's a fun team to watch. There's not that debate. That is not out there.
It's exactly where I felt I was. Now, this team's obviously better than this, but Jeremy Pruitt's last year when Tennessee was struggling down the stretch and going 3-7, and it's one thing to watch a team go 3-7 if, like, you have a Mike Leach offense and you're throwing the ball all over the field, but if you're playing ball control and it's just, you know how horrible it is to cover a team like that? Well, you do, because you've had to cover a team like that.
Yeah, I've covered a few like that. Smoky Mountain Red said, I love the checkerboard crowd, but I'm now canceling my checkered overalls order. I got to say, I don't blame you. The checkered overalls have never really done it for me. So post below again. We want to hear your thoughts.
Checkered overalls and orange pants. Looking at you, Derek Dooley. Orange pants are horrible, always.
I agree with that. Portions of the program brought to you by Zach England of Best and Brock. Zach England. Zach's got your back when it comes to a personal injury attorney in the Chattanooga area. Nobody is like Zach. Zach England of Best and Brock. Zach's got your back. He brings you Ron Slay each and every Wednesday.